So yeah, the thing that I'm going to go with is the one that as soon as I started mentioning it, you freaked out, which it told me that it was the right one to go with. The Shining. I don't like.
That's good though.
I don't know if I don't think I despise it. I just think it's so lame. Like I just watched it and everyone's like, oh god, Jack Nicholson, it's this amazing performance, and like yeah, he gets a bit like angry in that, but not like a whole lot really happens in it, and it just goes that whole thing where it's like, oh, isn't it? Things are a bit quirky, therefore scary, and it's just so lame. Look at these two kids in dresses. Look at this bit when the kid looks at the door and the room's ajar or whatever it is, and it's just like it's not anything. Oh, there's blood coming out of the elevators now. Oh, are we meant? What am I meant to get from this? I don't get. None of it does anything for me. It's not scary. It's just random. And I quite like Shelley Duvall in it. She's fine, but it didn't go anywhere. And then he freezes to death in the maze, and it ends.
It didn't go anywhere.
Where did it go?
Went to the maze outside. Like you
What's
just
that
said.
mean?
Got you there.
I'm not giving a vivid video essay of The Shining right now.
I watched the video essays and just oh god, the bit when he's with the waiter in the bathroom as well. F that. Like what even?
When he's with the granny.
No, when he's the guy that takes care of him. That's right, take care of him with the thing in the bathroom, and it goes on for like 20 minutes, and he's just standing there talking about nothing for like 20 minutes.
Mate.
He's not going insane well enough. He goes more insane later, and it's kind of fine.
Did
but
you see the Simpsons version first? Is that what ruined it?
I would have done, yeah. That one actually had like more sort of, I don't know, I was more invested in the character. But yeah, I just think it's horrifically lame, and I don't get it. I don't get what people like about it. I don't get it. I'm sorry, but I think it sucks.
Oh, I don't. This is how much I hate this film. I can feel myself drowning in negative energy. Forrest Gump, man.
What?
But that's good though. It's not. It really isn't. It's a bad movie.
Why?
Because if you're familiar with me, Scott, which you are, because you're my friend, I am a big fan of history. I studied it at university level. I have a big interest in 60s and 70s American history in particular. It's a really big passion of mine, and so obviously I'm going to get really scrutiny with like old history films. And the thing that I have with Forrest Gump isn't the whole, oh, it's Forrest Gump, you know, messing around with history. Oh, he's the guy who called the police on the people at the Watergate. How quirky. No, it's not really that. It's the fact that really the film has nothing to say, and if it does have a message, it is really, really negative and bad. The whole stuff where it's at the Washington Monument, when it's at the massive anti-war rally during the Vietnam War, and then they get Forrest Gump to walk up to the microphone, and he says nothing, and everyone applauds. That's effectively them saying that the anti-war movement in the 60s had nothing to say, and it's a big old load of bollocks intertwined with nostalgic songs from the 60s to make it, you know, oh, isn't that quirky? It's the 60s. Let's put some Credence on in the background and not actually listen to the lyrics. Ooh, ain't that nice? And it's just a nostalgic, crappy. Oh, I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Forrest lump, eh?
Oh, gave me a big old lump.
Oh.
Ewan! That exchange was bad, and you should both feel bad.
I meant it to imply disease, but yeah, there we go.
don't imply
That's probably not even better. But yeah, Forrest Gump. I just.
Got new legs, Lieutenant Dan.
Oh, it's that right there. That right there.
Had your ending.
Well, last week I talked about a film franchise which is untouchable, and that is, of course, the Mission Impossible franchise, with the best film in the entire thing being Mission Impossible 2. This week I'm going to talk about a trilogy that is the worst thing ever, and that is the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
But that's good though.
And the reason being is, well, you guys can tell me, what is the premise of Lord of the Rings, the trilogy?
Well, I had a Lord of the Rings themed wedding, so I'm not going to leap in.
This is your point.
Wait, you've just like completely bamboozled. This isn't the plot twist.
So what do they have to do in the 3 bloody films?
Gotta get the rings to Mordor.
So just chuck the ring in the bin. It takes 9 hours.
In the bin.
It's just so long, just wandering around the New Zealand countryside. Just get on with it. There's the good fight scene. What is it, Helm's Deep? Yeah, that's all right. Everything else. Jesus Christ, Peter Jackson. How long does it take to measure your own... For Christ's sake. Faffing about. Right, and also, this magic ring they've got. Whenever Frodo puts it on, he turns into a little bitch. So, just...
Even people who love Lord of the Rings think Frodo's a little bitch.
Yeah.
And, right, okay. Take away everything else. I'll give you the 8.5 hours it takes them to chuck it in a fire when you can make one at home anyway, right? I'll give you all that. It's the 20 million endings that it's got. Where they've chucked it away. Right, there we go, time for the credits. Oh no, time for someone to have a bit of a cry. Oh no, time for someone to have a bit of a sit in a bed and have some nice lighting around them. Time for someone to bugger off on a boat. Time for someone to get married. Just let it end, for God's sake.
Don't you love that bit where Gandalf's doing the creepy laugh though, and he's there
No. It's awful. It's so long. It's so dull. It's so boring. And then they go, don't worry though, we got 3 prequels.
Oh, they're bad.
Sod off. I'm not going to watch any of them. It's dreadful. I want my 9 hours back. I hate it.
I hate Gone with the Wind.
But that's good though.
It's not though, is it? It's absolutely dreadful. Like, it's, you know, whenever they do those roundups of like, the greatest films ever made, it's always in the top 5 for every best film ever. And I totally get why, like, Casablanca, like, what's another old film everybody like? Citizen Kane. I get why they stand the test of time, even though they're not that good either. I get why they stand the test of time. They're good stories, fundamentally. But Gone with the Wind, Jesus Christ, it's awful. Right, do we know anything about it? Right, have you seen it? Has anyone seen it? No, because nobody has, because it's 3 hours of absolute piss take. 3 hours long? And all it is.
Third of Lord of the Rings.
It feels like 1/3 of your life when you watch it. It's set during the start of the American Civil War. Anyone want a ballpark figure how many people die in the American Civil War?
Million.
It's about 1 million, they reckon, depending on which Wikipedia article you've hurriedly researched before you come in here. It's about 1 million, right? And the central premise is you've got a whiny, conniving, just pain in the arse woman, just moaning and moaning to this smug, just awful, douchey man. But the entire complaint about the film is, oh, I've lost all my money. Like, just piss off. Like, millions of people dancing, oh, I've lost all my money. There were 3 hours of them just going, oh, but I've lost all my money. It's absolutely horrible. It's dull. Nothing good happens in it. There's that one line. I think it's entirely got this reputation of being a good film because it's got a line that people have remembered for like 80 years.
Good line though.
Frankly, my dear, it's a hell of a line, Ewan. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. And then he walks off. But that's not even the end. People think that's the end of the film. It's not. He comes back. He objectively gave a damn.
That was the end.
No!
So he lied.
He comes back later.
I don't like him if
People,
lie.
people always think, oh, that's the end because of the bit in The Simpsons where it's like, frankly, my dear, I love you, let's get married. And it's like re-edited for seniors. That's not the end. There's like an hour left after that line. An hour. It's absolutely horrible. I watched it on a Sunday once.
Oh.
It was on Channel 4 and I was in the midst of like, you know when IMDb had just first happened? And it was like, oh, you've got to see these 250 great movies before you die, because by the way, you are going to die. And I was like, oh, Gone with the Wind's on. Never seen that. That feels like an important thing to watch. I got an hour into it. I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, the stakes are a bit weird here because obviously the entire country's pulling itself apart. But these two just entitled, unbearable arseholes seem to not really... I'm sure what's going to happen is their moral compass will be reset later on and they'll realise that actually there's more important things than, oh, my money's gone. Nope. All they care about is that, oh, my money's gone. I absolutely hate it.
Why
I hate it.
Gone with the Wind?
I don't know. Because I wish I was by the end of it.
Right, look, hear me out. If this is coming after the other guys, it may seem like a bit of a step down, but the Blair Witch Project, for as influential as it is, I absolutely hate, right? Because when I was a wee Ben trying to research this movie, because, you know, it's not beyond my time. I was quite little when I watched this film, but I was there for the marketing campaign, which was really great. It was probably one of the first major viral marketing successes. You really thought the non-actors in this movie were actually dead, because they even released a documentary before the film came out, which I saw before the film. It was this weird mockumentary about the actors going missing and like people putting up missing posters for them in their school and stuff. And I was totally convinced that the Blair Witch was real, and I was unbelievably scared of it. I didn't even want to watch the movie, so I put it off for about a year or so. That scared me enough, and then I eventually watched it, and I didn't understand why everyone was so scared about it, because it's not really, it's kind of an ice cold take to say that nothing really happens in that movie, Ewan, nothing at all. Brushing of 10, some flipping twigs, some arts and crafts. I could do that, man. I could literally do that. I mean, I'm not going to, because, you know, why would I lower myself to that standard? I could do it. I'm so hard. But it wasn't scary. And the thing is, right, I need to say this. I love shaky cam stuff. I know a lot of people hate Blair Witch because they hate shaky cam stuff. Nah, I like all the crap ones. I like stuff like Afflicted, that one where they're on the moon and there's aliens. Awesome, because, hey, Apollo something, I don't even remember the title, but I remember things that happened in it, unlike Blair Witch, where they're just in the woods for a bit, pissing about, and then he stands in the corner. Again, could do that right now. And here's the thing, Blair Witch the remake, the Adam Wingard one, miles better than the original because you have things to be scared about. It's not just people in the dark and snots, although snots are scary. You have an actual gangly monster that chases you. And when I was in the cinema watching that, terrified. Didn't want to look at the screen because that gangly monster would be after you all the time. Horrible. Blair Witch is better.
Absolutely not having that a man that uses that much hairspray isn't afraid of wind.
Ooh, I'm scary now. Are you scared, eh? Eh?